Welcome back to the channel. It's me, the Infidel, and here today we need to talk about something that's been bothering a lot of Division 2 players for quite a while now. Something that's frustrating yet incredibly important to the game's community. A lack of communication from the developers. Yeah, we know everybody's feeling kind of like what's going on, what's really happening. Alright, so let's get into it. For those of us sticking with the Division 2 over the last 7 years, there's no denying the game is absolutely amazing, especially for those that have stuck around for so long. For major bugs and balances, there's one thing that's always kept players kind of scratching their head trying to figure out what's really going on. Why aren't we hearing anything, especially from either Twitter, X, the Trello board that they have, or even Discord? Over the last few months, it seems like everything is kind of going silent since pre-launch of Battle for Brooklyn, which is an amazing map. It's an amazing addition to the already, immense content that they have. A lot of replayability, a lot of maneuvering around, a lot of being able to farm. But what happened? So notice the bugs that are still in here, like the loot bug, where specific loot will drop on a consistent and regular basis. Now, I don't know if that's part of the AI, kind of like putting other items, because I'll get a relic almost everywhere I go, or a white death, almost instantly. I can always count on one of those items dropping every time, and it's rather buggy. It's kind of annoying, let's be honest. To the cache. Now, they've known the cache bug has been out for quite a while, and yet nothing has happened. We're talking about Delta 3 errors that still happen on a regular and consistent basis, not to mention that when they do put out an update on Tuesdays, normally it gets extended. The last couple have been normal, but last Tuesday, which is now week 7 for year 7, season 1, was extended again by 2 hours. If that's the case, then what's really going on? It's not just the bugs either. It's a lack of clarity. When it comes to new content or updates, players are left guessing whether we're getting a patch, when it's coming out, or what's really going on. They released that little gem of the snow at the Capitol building. Now, it's been pretty quiet since, and I get it. You kind of want to leave players like with that nugget to grasp onto for future. But the thing is like the game is still in this kind of unstable state. If you're going to put out something major, you're going to want the game in a pretty decent state for players to stick around. Now, I've been playing the game since it dropped, and it doesn't look like it from watch level that I have, or the characters that I run around with, or the gear, simply because I started playing on Xbox first. And I played there for years and years. I skipped 1 year due to, my job. I was somewhere where I couldn't play for a year, so I had to back off. But that being said, when I came back, I jumped right back in, got right back to where I was supposed to be. I've done the raids, I've done all of the missions. Now that character is pretty much maxed out, and I couldn't transport them over to PC because that's just not what they do. But that doesn't mean that the developers get to take a break. You know what I mean? Now, we all know that Ubisoft has had its internal, and Massive has had its internal fighting. From year 2, firing the whole DZ team, which was an absolute and abhorrent error. They haven't updated the DZ. They didn't introduce any new maps to the DZ. It's still kind of in this hacker state where people just kind of go in there, run in, grab what they need to get, and get the heck out. I remember teams would go in there and stick around for hours and hours and hours just playing, until Cronus kind of took over the map, and now PC players would experience a lot more cheaters. Obviously, it's PC, right? The anti-cheat doesn't really keep up. It's pretty bad, let's be honest. I've gone in and played a few maps of Conflict. Can't stand it. Pretty much don't even want to play it anymore because I'm in the US. Every time I go into a Conflict match, I get thrown into a European server. Nah, I'm out, bro. It would be okay to me if I played on their server for a match or two, and then they played on our servers for a match or two, and I'd be all right with that. But constantly being thrown into a European server, it's just not fun. The latency, the lag. Ping is king, right? So it doesn't matter if they're cheating or not. It doesn't really matter. It looks like they are because the ping is so bad that you're getting melted from around the corner when that's not what they see on their screen, but it's definitely what you're going to see on yours due to the latency and how long the packet has to get to your PC, right? But that's just how it is. All right, so now that we've established some errors, what do we want? All right, how is it that we're going to be able to fix this? Maybe. So what exactly do players want? Simple transparency. That's all we're asking for. Not new content. We're not looking for new patches or updates that would come out immediately because that's just unattainable and it's untenable. Let's be honest. But just a little bit more of that communication. We used to get those monthly, Twitch streams where Yannick would come out and pretty much give us the state of the game. Now, I understand that there might be a lot of resources being pulled back due to, well, we already know they're in development of the Division 3. Hopefully it sticks around and they actually produce a game. Ubisoft is notorious for dropping the ball when it comes to new content. They'll drop new games. I mean, look what happened to X-Defiant. And that was an amazing Call of Duty. It was a Call of Duty destroyer. Had they stuck with it, released it the way it was, and gave it the same fair shake as they do with the rest of their games, it would have been an absolute monster of a game. I loved playing it. Played it quite a bit. I loved it. Then when I found out they were shutting the servers down, I was like, nah, I'm dead. I'm out. Back on topic, what we want to know is what's being worked on. Now, we got a little bit of information, of course, with the Capitol building being covered in snow, and we think that the world's going to get winter. But is that it? Are we getting survival on the Division 2 like we got on Division 1? On the backside of that, we hear rumors that the Division 1 servers are being shut down. If that's the case, that tells me that Ubisoft and Massive are in a bad spot. They're in a real bad spot. And they're not able to keep some of that infrastructure running. That doesn't bode well for the Division 2 or the Division 3. We've seen some of their AAA rated titles just kind of go under the weather. They haven't performed to expectation. I'm not going to mention names. Assassin's Creed. Some of that stuff is just kind of falling apart. Let's be upbeat and positive about it for just a minute. Still, the game has a lot of potential that just hasn't been given its fair shake. The Dark Zone. I mean, we would love to have some more maps. Maybe even taking what was supposed to be Heartland and turning that into a Dark Zone experience. That would be one way. I mean, all of that stuff is still there. You don't have to dress it up and do everything that was supposed to be released. You can just dumb it down, make it a map that has current state like we have now, and just turn it into a Dark Zone experience. You don't have to go crazy with it. I mean, we already pretty much travel to everywhere we go now as it is, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to flip servers when you go into each one of the DZs, so it doesn't really matter. So not worried about time constraints when it comes to that. There's so much left on the table that they really haven't tapped into. Now, I understand that they're running on a skeleton crew. But like I said, that Dark Zone with the Heartland map is very possible because that information, that data is still there. You don't have to worry about voice actors. You don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. The map is still there. The core elements are still there. You can turn that into a Dark Zone. You could turn it into anything you really want to. You don't have to really put a lot into it. You could simply release it as a Dark Zone expansion. Hell, I'd even pay for it. I mean, I paid for Battle for Brooklyn. What's going to stop me from paying for another expansion? I would love to see it released to where players get a little extra, especially leading up to Division 3, provided that we get it, right? So what do you think? Am I being hard? Am I being impossible to deal with? Do you think that anything that I've said has any merit? If you think that I'm on track here, do me a favor. Leave a like, leave a comment, hey, share it. Let's get everybody's voice and opinion on the board. All right? Let's see if this is actually possible to do, or am I just blowing smoke up your butt? All right, well, that's it for the Infidel. Round's complete. End of mission. I'm out of here.